great to be here with you. You're here in Geelong. You're launching the All-Australian Beachbody session tonight down at Fitzgibbons Stadium and down at the home of the Cats. How excited are you to be here?
Thanks for having me. It's awesome. I don't know, the feeling I get coming to Geelong, it's just got that homely feel for me, and I've been travelling down here to Bells Beach for 12 to 15 years, so I don't feel a day older, but it's cool, all the experiences I've had down here.
No, you don't look a day older.
Oh, thank you.
But of course, we're talking to you today about a different thing. You've taken the knowledge and all of the insights that you've gained and that training that you've learned so much about during your athletic career, and you're turning it into a business. Tell me about Sally Fitzgibbons, the brand, and the All-Australian Beachbody.
Oh, I guess I've just always had this greater love of movement and training, and I guess that's a credit to my upbringing. My parents, 3 older brothers, we all grew up the south coast of New South Wales, and we're right there on the beach, so it was natural to become like that bit of a water baby, but just the rolling hills and just the way the landscape is, it just lends itself to be outdoors, and my parents were so trusting. I had this inner drive to become like a world champion or an Olympic gold medalist from the age of 8. So I just remember as a youngster, I'd wake up and hop on my bike and do some laps of the town. We had like this 4K loop and then like run the next bit and have my boxing bag like Rocky, and I don't know, it's just this drive. No one was sort of telling me to do this. I just loved the feeling of it, and I love the competition side of things too, and maybe having 3 older brothers, I don't know, push me to want to like learn these things, and it's I guess now the athlete I am today, all these things have contributed, and I've loved the ride up to this date.
Yeah, and it's such a different journey for you now. I guess you're not just a surfing champion anymore. You're an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. So tell me about that process of where you started, and where was that moment that said that you could take what you've learned and bring value to someone else or a business?
It's wild. I wouldn't have thought that I'd be saying to myself, I'll create a business out of this. I purely, as I was going along and through my journey, I've had this incredible amount of people around the world reach out and want to share in my journey and support me as a world championship surfer, and that journey for me to become a world champion has been my ultimate goal. And as I was going along, I just felt inside, like I had this bigger vision that what I'm feeling and how I love to feel, like being fit and healthy, if I can just like reach out and impart that into people that may not be feeling that, could kickstart their healthy living routine, or just that little piece of like motivation to say, hey, I'll come out and train with you. And the first products that have come out, the All-Australian Beachbody app, was my first port of call, because my training, I'm doing it every single day, and I just know how it feels to connect with someone and feel like they're there with you, like pushing you and motivating you, and and I'm really proud of what I've developed there, and it's a credit to the team and I guess myself and all the coaches and sports and things I've been exposed to, and it's super exciting to think someone can pick that up every day, get out there, get moving, and just create their healthy lifestyle.
And it's given you the ability to have a personal connection with people from anywhere in the world. I mean, you're travelling all the time, but because it is a technology-based business, you can do this. So you can be a personal trainer on someone's phone, on their tablet, wherever they are and wherever you are.
It's super cool. I just love that there are all these platforms out there. They enable me to reach out to a global audience, and it is neat to be able to be training in my own backyard and preparing for an event, jump on a plane, and I'll fly over to, say, Europe or France or Portugal and jump in the surf, and they say, oh, Sal, I've loved my session, this is how I've been training, and the waves looked pretty fun at home for you. It really makes this community and the world quite connected, really close, and I'm pretty thankful at this point in my career that I could develop something like this and sort of have both sides of things. I can still compete at the highest level and develop this business at the same time.
So who's been working with you along the journey? I mean, we see you out front and centre, but no business ever starts on their own, and in the same way that you as a surfer have a team behind you. Who's your business team?
It's all about the team for sure, behind you, and first and foremost I say my mum and dad. My mum and dad have, they're the character that has been built in me, and those motivations and things to work hard and be determined, never give up on things, and so Mum and Dad have instilled all these things. I still work so closely with them, and Marty, my old man, he's there every single day, you know, filming and developing these things with me on the front lines. And then we have our office, Fitzgibbons International, and my business partner, Mike Bray, has been so tremendous. It's something that I feel that when you're going and jumping into the deep end and, you know, you're feeling a little vulnerable, sometimes it does feel a bit risky to say, put yourself out there and try and develop these things. And he's been so reassuring, and what I don't know, then I've always been willing to learn. And I think if you surround yourself with the right environment and the right people, and in that case, at the beginning of the business, it was Mike Bray, you know, you're able to trust in each other. And then we grew the team from there, and each one of our staff and our crew, they see that same vision and they have that same passion and work ethic, and I couldn't be prouder of them.
Yeah, it is really exciting, and it's interesting to hear you talking about the way that you approach business, because when I hear you talking about the way that you've approached the development of the business so far, it sounds a lot like I can hear the athlete in you when you're talking. What is that process? What do you go through, and how do you push yourself to learn the next thing to take the business to the next step?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, because what I feel that we have produced, whether it was the Live Like Sally book and then rolling into the International Beach Festival, our first major event, celebrating women's surf at gala events. We're a pretty diverse business, as well as our fitness products that we're developing in the training space and the nutrition space. I think it's something that it comes from a very pure place. It's something that I never really started the business to crunch the numbers and make sure I was in front. It's more about connecting people and making moments and creating moments that like families could come to, kids could come to, and feel like they're, you know, bettering themselves in that moment and have that vision to really pursue something. So I feel like with that purity comes really authentic products, and it's something that you're not making it to make the money and make it work. You're just making it because you love to make it. And so in our short existence, I feel like we're really on track with that.
Fantastic. And I wanted to speak to you a little bit about branding, because of course you are the main brand. You're out front. It's your name. It's your photos. You're the one that's out the front there. How conscious are you of managing the brand of Sally Fitzgibbons, and where do you think that you'd like to take that brand?
It is crazy sometimes to think that I'm out there front and centre. I come from a town that has 500 people in it, super sleepy. Most of the crew are over 70. They cheer me on when I'm running laps or in the surf.
And so, of course, to them, you're just Sally, the kid down at the beach. You're not Sally Fitzgibbons, the international brand.
When I leave town, they paint the sign out the front and they say, "Go Sal, you're our number one." And that's kind of what motivates me at the end of the day, that people can stop what they're doing to selflessly share in a part of my journey. And I don't really feel that pressure in a sense of being out front, because I'm really telling just a story that I'm proud of. Like, all the decisions I'm making, they're just me. It's not people telling me to do something or say this message or support this. I guess it more so comes that pressure maybe when there are other influences and we want to partner with major brands and connect the dots and create a really powerful web. And I just sort of make sure that all those things are on point with my values, and I really believe in those products.
Yeah, and it is the fitness space and the living well space. It's a pretty crowded market out there, and there's so much information. How are you going about cutting through some of that noise to connect to people?
It's super saturated. It's this is like a huge bubble, you know, the fitness bubble and health and well-being, and I love it. I love how there's so many companies that are transitioning to this mindset, and it just means there's more people out there moving. There's more people picking up better options to eat. They're influencing their kids, they're influencing schools, and then that continues to grow, and instead of that market being the minority, it's going to turn into the majority. So for me to jump in, I know in a business sense you might say, oh, it's a bit crowded in there and you're trying to squish in and find your space, but I guess in the other side of things with the training app, I felt there's some incredible PTs out there that have paved the way with their product and their live shows, and there's not too many athletes in the midst of their career doing the same, and I wanted to kind of create that product where people can do it and also feed that energy and see they're driving me to become a world champion, going on the live world training tours, I stop in on these places and connect with the fitness community there. And far out you get the biggest buzz, and people are just aware that what they're doing, they can empower themselves, and by doing what they're doing, they're empowering me.
Yeah, that's really exciting, isn't it? And Sally, tell me about, I mean, you've got a really good social network, a really good social media community out there. There's lots of people who follow you. I think you've got 750,000 Facebook likes and just under 500,000 people following you on Instagram. Has that been a key part of the way that you've gone about developing this business and getting who you are and what you're doing out there?
I think that's what I've loved about social media. It actually points out to you that, hey, there is this connection of people, like they're out there and you can't see them, but they're out there. And I guess that kind of gave me confidence to develop the products and know that maybe a few of them, because they've already reached out and said, like, we'd love to know what your pre-event routine is, how you train, or how are you eating to stay fit. And I thought to myself, oh well, if I can create something that can reach out to many, then that's where I can start. Kind of thing.
And that's sort of the hard thing, isn't it, for businesses of any kind in any industry, is about how do you form that connection with your customers, and how do you start to think about who they are and what they need and how they're going to find you.
Yeah, I think as well I had that inkling. I guess that means, okay, there are people out there that I can create something on this platform. But what I've loved about, I guess, my social media growth is that it has always been me. I haven't had to get structures or plans or companies to come in and advertise and boost it. Something that I just love sharing a story. I love storytelling, and all these places I was going to, I was like, man, I'd love to, snap this in my day and stitch together this story of like who I am, not just like the athlete in the jersey and paddling out as a surfer, and then it just began to grow, and that's what's fascinating about it. And I just see that the people that have connected to me feel like they're very like-minded. They share the same philosophy on life, and that's what's been really positive about my experience with social media, that there's not too many negatives, and say someone does jump in, they're not having the best day and share a negative, it's pretty self-regulating, because that community want to pull them up on that. And so I've had a really positive experience with it, and just can't wait to see where it goes next.
So how do you go about, or how do you think about the people that are out there, and what are the kinds of people that are connecting with you, and what are they looking for from you?
Do you know what's crazy is, like, there's no two the same. Like, I know there's no two people the same, but I guess the sport of surfing is so wide-reaching. Like, it can go from the grommies that are like from 8 to 15, and then you can surf, like, as a competitor, there's like mad surf fans, they want to improve their surfing, or they want to just be healthy and live well, and that can go right through. It's shown to the 60, 70-year-olds. So in the snapshot of people across my socials, I couldn't say that I'm targeting one person in particular. It constantly surprises me, and I think just having all these different pillars within the business allows me to provide a product or a moment for that demographic. And whether it's like the foundation, and the Sally Fitzgibbons Foundation is targeted at young kids and getting our next generation active, and then these core training products maybe in that middle-aged sort of snapshot, teens right through, and then the surf products and nutrition, they really apply to anyone that has that.
And we should touch on the foundation as well. Tell me about what you're doing. What are you doing as the Sally Fitzgibbons Foundation?
Yeah, Sally Fitzgibbons Foundation is targeted at childhood obesity, but more so it's something that I didn't want it to be a rigid structure, feel really sterilised and clinical. It's something I just want to have a lot of fun with it. I want to raise money to create programs for kids that they're out there having fun at schools. They got skip ropes, they got fun games. It's not super serious, it's hard. They're flooded with information saying, don't eat this, don't eat that. I want them to get that feeling that they just know what to eat. It's not they're sitting there scratching their head. Like, I want them to know what fruit and veggies are.
Yeah.
Like, I want those to be the colours that they're attracted to, not the junk food. And if I can slowly develop these products with the great fundraising, and it's great, the live shows and the World Training Tour feed into that, and the training app feed into that. So if all the products can talk to each other, I think that starts to gather a lot of momentum.
Yeah, and talking to you, I'm getting a really strong sense that so much of what you're doing is about people just enjoying it, people being able to be who they are and have what you're doing as part of their life, rather than it being a structure or a plan or a 12-week up and then all of a sudden you walk away and your job is done.
No, I just want to plant the seed. I want them to feel that they're strongest and most powerful. And I know how life can be. There's a few curveballs, and just those negative processes sometimes they can become ingrained. And I want people to see out there that life is it's not that serious. To really enjoy it, really enjoy it. And if you're not doing something you like, then let's create processes where you can be doing that. I know it's not as easy as clicking your fingers, but I'm just saying, from my experience and point of view, what I do that I'm so passionate about it is that I love getting out of bed super early and going after that dream. And I know some mornings it's hard to get out of bed, right? Everyone feels that. The alarm goes off, you're like, oh, here we go again. But that roller coaster has given me such a great enjoyment in life.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, it's been such a pleasure to speak to you. You're certainly bringing the passion into the business that we've come to know from you as a surfer. So great to have you here. Great to have you down doing the live show down here in Geelong. A couple of us are going to go along. I'm really hoping we actually survive without having to, toddle off to the side and have a bit of a nervous breakdown. But it's going to be lots of fun. It's been a joy meeting you.
You guys are going to nail it. It's going to be in Catters Heartland, so
in
go
your
with the
hands.
Mighty Cats.